Hi there, welcome to FoxCast. I'm Craig, joined today by Gavin and Jamie from GJM Energy. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good to see you. I know that you've been here once before.
Yep.
So I think you came when we were over the road there and did some product trading with us a year or two ago now, I think.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah,
Goes quick time.
it does, yeah.
It could be 2 years. I think just as the EP11 was being released,
Yes.
we came and done our product training.
Yeah. So I do remember you coming. We've got so many people for that process, but you do immediately recognise people. And obviously I'm aware of you being out there, being sort of installers of Fox and pushing our brand out there to your customers. So we obviously are aware of you here. So where are you based?
So we're in Bedfordshire. So we're nice to centrally located in Toddington in Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
And we service Herts, Beds, Bucks and Northamptonshire.
Okay.
So we've got a really good size patch. So it works really well. We're only an hour away from here, so it's not too far.
So you keep things local. You're tempted sometimes when that lead comes in and it's a little bit out. Do you have a little bit of flexibility on that, or you just try and keep things tight in terms of the area so that you can service them properly and give them,
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent sized area that we cover. We have ventured further, but that's been through referrals. So, like, if we've done a job for somebody in Milton Keynes, but then somebody in, we went up to Leicestershire, for instance. So we will go and do it. We're not actively looking because it's really important to us that we need to be able to, even though it's okay us doing a job in Leicestershire, but if we ever needed to pop back there for any reason, we need to make sure we cover that. So it's nicer for us to keep a tight geographic location, and we can then create a good solution if there's a need for us to visit again.
Oh, that's really important, isn't it? Because the temptation sometimes is to take whatever's out there, but then you need to make sure that customer's got confidence in the after sales service that you're going to provide and everything else. So I think doing it that way, I think it does work, and I think customers appreciate it. We get inquiries from end customers, and what they often say to us is, and those leads come in through our website through inquiries, and one of the comments they often make is, I want somebody local. It's quite important to them, because they're concerned that we're going to refer them to one of our partners that's based 200 miles away, and even though they possibly could service it, it's important to them. What's your background then? So how did you arrive here in this industry today and sat here talking about it?
So from leaving school, I started off actually as an engineer. We did a lot of work around insulation, so energy conservation and stuff like that. So it's been a long journey for me. So like I'm probably now out of 30 years or something like that, 32 years of work. And gradually I'd always been hands-on, so I could do plumbing. And then over like 15 years ago, decided I wanted to learn electrics as well. So I qualified. I'm actually qualified as an electrician and a gas engineer. So we're gas safe registered, and we're an IC, and we've got all the solar and battery qualifications. So independently, I was doing that for myself, and then we've kind of gradually just gone down the road again of solar and battery. So a lot of our team have been involved in solar and solar since the first wave. So like the feed-in tariff days, 10, 15 years ago. And we just then decided to evolve. Jamie is fully qualified electrician, and he...
So what are your roles then within the company, the two of you? So just to clarify that.
So I'm the director of the company. Yeah. I predominantly do sales and sort of head everything. So my sort of thing is design. So I do system design and sales. And Jamie's role is very much, and it's something I think is really unique to our business rather than some others, is Jamie is like our QHSE supervisor on site, so he's dealing with quality and health and safety. So ultimately Jamie is that link between the customer and our business there. So he's talking them all through the app, making sure that at every stage of the installation process that we've done it to the highest possible standard, and he's got a checklist that he goes through, and that's getting fed back to the office with photographs, documentation, serial numbers, everything's all being done. So because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, if you like, it was really difficult for me to step away from that, being that person on the job that knows how good the quality is, to then hand that to someone else. And that's where Jamie comes in and fills that void.
So Jamie, on that then, what does that look like? Okay, so you've completed, so we're getting a bit ahead of by schedule, but I'd be interested to know now that process, because not every installer does that. Some are fit and forget. And they get in, they fit it. There's an instructions for your dongle, and they go. But you don't. So
no, of course. So we normally do a pre-inspection, go into the loft, make sure everything's fine with the roof, everything like that, just to make sure there's no big holes or anything like that, just to make sure that when we leave that place, it's exactly the same as when we got there. So everything's safe and properly. So I get on site most mornings, get delivery of normally Fox products and everything like that. And then we go there, look at the install, make sure everything's correct, it's got everything that we need. Caesar, our electrician, he does all the electric sides, give him a hand lifting the batteries on, etc., because they are quite heavy. Yeah. And then anything the customer has any questions or anything like that, I'm there to answer them for them and everything like that. And then we do the install. After the install's complete, I go in, talk them through the whole app. So any questions they have about the app or anything like that, talk them through everything. So I show them how to set up their charging times, what the mode scheduler does, everything like that.
So you will take them step by step through the account setup as well. Exactly. We'll do the whole thing. So you leave them, and they've got visibility of their system.
Exactly.
And they know the essentials in terms of scheduling everything.
Exactly. And then obviously, if they ever do need a refresher or anything like that, we're always a phone call away that I'm able to give a hand over the phone call. And then also normally 2 weeks after the install, roughly, I go back with a handover pack that's got the schematic in, the warranties in, everything like that. Okay. And then they've had a little play with the app, and if they've forgotten anything or anything like that,
just give them a reminder.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you actually mentioned a second ago about handling the back. There's a bit of a segue here into the Evo. You did a few Evo installs. How are you getting on with that in terms of lifting it? Because it comes with the handles, isn't it? Is it you finding it okay?
Complete game changer. Yeah. So we obviously fit quite big batteries sometimes and everything like that. And we have fitted Teslas in the past and everything like that. But with them, they say about need a dolly for it. Yeah. And they want to make you buy a little dolly that basically isn't needed. Whereas you guys put the handles in, and it just makes it so much easier.
It's funny you should say that, because we actually do have a dolly ourselves. It's very similar. I've actually got one down. You can't see it because it's buried behind those boxes behind a bit. What we found is actually there isn't a huge call for it. Yeah. And the reason is that actually people were finding as a two-man lift with the way that the handles have been designed, it's actually all right.
Obviously.
So interesting, actually, you said that. Yeah. We do need some people to buy the trolleys though, because we've got a few. Yeah, so obviously you have this approach with your customers, which is quite refreshing from the sounds of it. What's your split at the moment in terms of installs? Is it with PV, retrofits, AC coupled only, off-peak charging? Is it a mix, or do you find yourself focusing on one of them more than the others?
I'd say we're 99% solar and battery.
Solar and battery.
So we're pretty much hybrid inverters. So yeah, Evo has flown off the shelf since it arrived. I really enjoy selling it. We really believe in the product, the quality of the build. And it's not me just saying it for the camera. I say this to my customers every single time. So we do offer other brands. The one solution is going to be like for one customer, and another the customer something else. So, but when we're looking for, I would say I do see the Evo, in my opinion, as a little bit of a disruptor to another brand that looks a little bit similar.
Well, we could say Tesla.
So, I like the Tesla brand. I drive the Tesla, but actually, we were discussing my own house. Actually, we've been having this because I'm going to upgrade my system, and we've been like, what we fitted, like what's going in my home, and actually, we've all come back to the Fox Evo, and I think that it's a nice blend of the aesthetics is going down really well. It's really important for people. I think it looks really good. We believe the build quality is really good. We are getting the customer support and service from you guys if there's a phone call with a firmware update that we need to do or anything like that. And it does help with having Jamie in his position because he's dealing with it daily. So as you make a change, he's learning and he takes that on. If you don't have that on the site, like me now, I have no idea what the app looks like. I've not seen it for probably 6 months, but I know that we've got a man who does. Yeah. So he does that side of the business. So hopefully, so that's why we do rate that product and also the others as well. I mean, there's a lot of, we still have good call for, the individual inverters, batteries and stuff. So
people still do that modular approach, don't they? Still, it is horses for courses, isn't it? A lot of the time. It's interesting actually because I've had a few installation companies go through this process and record an episode, and one of the topics that always comes up is how competitive it is out there. In this industry, particularly in the residential sector. You obviously, I mean, you can tell me actually how do you source leads? What's your main sort of way of acquiring leads? And then how are you finding it when speaking? And do you do site visits? Is it remote or is it a mixture? And then how are you finding it out there? Are customers collecting quotes still? Are you finding yourself up against 2 or 3 other companies when you quote, or just give me your view on that, really?
I'm not from a sales background initially, so I'm an engineer as such. So I'm an electrician and I'm qualified in gas. Yeah. So I've not come from selling double glazing or selling anything else. So that's not really been my background. And I think we're not going to win them all. And I'm quite comfortable with that. So if there is somebody out there that's offering a system that is maybe a lesser price or even a crazy more expensive price, we're never going to be the cheapest. We're never going to be the most expensive. I would say we're in the right ballpark. I check my pricing against the other big people in the market, but we will offer a 5-star service and the install will be done. And as we've explained, the processes that we use for quality of the install will be done to the MCS regulations and it will be done correctly. So I like the market because I'm up against a number of different things when I go into an appointment with customers. We've got their interest at heart. I don't mind whether it's a 6-panel EP5 with a hybrid inverter, just nice small little system that someone wants, or we've done also 144 panel systems or huge residential houses. So we can offer both. But I think what stands us out from the crowd is I wasn't selling double glazing last week and I've now just jumped in the industry, jumped on this bandwagon where they might be people that's being sold the dream that solar, you're going to make loads of money and exit and all this sort of stuff. Good luck on those guys if they do and whatever. But I think for customers that know their stuff, because there's a lot of information out there with the internet, YouTube, all the Facebook groups and stuff like that. You get these people that do their research and they'll sniff out the companies that actually don't know their stuff. And I think because I've got I can talk about these systems technically and create a solution for those customers. We don't need to compete with a race to the bottom. So we're sticking, I've got a business model which is set to do a great job and at the right price. So if that answers your question in a way, I think we differentiate because we really know what we're doing, and customers recognise that.
It's interesting because you've said there's a lot of information out there, and I've had this conversation with a number of people now. With those community forums, with AI and all those tools. There's also a lot of misinformation out there. And we get it as a manufacturer. So we'll have a conversation, not myself, maybe one of my colleagues will go and speak to a distributor and installer, and they said so-and-so from this rival manufacturer said this about your product, or it doesn't do this, and you think, well, that's not true. So you are sort of fighting against people out there not being wholly honest or down the middle in terms of what they're saying. I mean, I don't genuinely, and this is honestly the case, speak badly of another manufacturer to any third party, because it's not for me to do that. I can speak about our products and the benefits, and I can also take it on the chin when things don't go exactly as we hoped, but are you seeing that at all? Misinformation.
I'm seeing it a lot, I'll be honest, and it really it doesn't bug me. It just leaves me, because my whole thing is I would not introduce the product, the brands that we work with. Hopefully you can see from what I've said, the passion that we've got about creating a great solution for our customers, and that the quality's got to be right and the product has to be right to them. So it's really important for me that any manufacturers that we bring on board, they've got to work in that way, and we've got to have that support for us, because the customer, if they've got an issue, quite rightly will come to us, and we need to know. So Jamie, we've got a board in the office where if a customer contacts us, we make sure that their scenario is dealt with 100%. And Jamie's probably spends a day a week just answering queries. It's not necessarily there's faults, but it could be, could you change my charge setup times or wherever it might be? So we deal with it like that. So I'm noticing in the market where there are salespeople out there basically saying that maybe Fox or this is good, that isn't good. And that is frustrating because I know I have a different experience of it. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't work with Fox, I wouldn't work with, say, Tesla if I didn't believe that they were good products. So I think when you're hearing that misinformation, I like to see it as actually Fox must be doing something right, because you're kind of...
Yeah, well, that's what shots at the minute.
Yeah, you're getting on people's nerves. Like, we had it, like, unfortunately, and it really... It was probably one of the worst mornings. I woke up one morning and we've only got 5-star Google reviews, and they're all... And a Trustpilot, and they're all... They named Jamie, they named Ellie, they named me, they named the roofing team, they named Caesar. So they're all genuine. Yeah. And we got 4 rogue reviews.
Right.
That were, and one of them was even business owner phoned me if you want this to stop, if you see what I mean. So, but luckily,
that must have stung me. Because because that's, I mean, I had this conversation with another store recently. That feedback, that online reputation to review sites is so important to your business, and you nurture that, and you go the extra mile in terms of service, and you get that feedback, and it means a huge amount to you as a business, also on a personal level as well. And when people are playing games with that, and having a harmful effect on your business, it's not nice.
When I spoke to you earlier, I think I mentioned about I believe there might be a not so genuine review site about Fox, and I'll try and share some more info on that, because that was something that was brought to me yesterday. Yeah. A customer literally said to me, we got forwarded by a different solar installation company to a review page, but they said they don't think it was genuine. So it didn't match with...
Oh, you're worth having a look at, yeah, because obviously you don't...
you want to shut that down, because for me it's difficult, because I know that we're getting great support. I know the product is good, and if it wasn't, I've worked with other brands before. We wouldn't touch them now with a barge pole. It cost me thousands of pounds, because how genuine I am. We literally went along and paid to change parts and gave customer support where we couldn't get that customer support from another large manufacturer based in the UK. So I'm not going to fall into that trap again. And luckily, we've never had that with Fox. So yeah.
And hopefully you won't. But I've said this a number of times to people that we don't always get it right every time. But we're pretty confident that we get it right most of the time. And where we do have issues, bottlenecks on service and support, we quickly address it and fill that hole. And that's we have to react, and we are. So, and also I think it does help with Fox, I guess, that we've got this very strong UK presence, and we've got this operation here, but we've got our commercial operation elsewhere. We've obviously got engineers around the country. And I think it's fair to say some manufacturers are operating with a real skeleton crew in the UK and pushing everybody overseas. So that's certainly an advantage. Just coming back to the customer experience, Jamie, we talked earlier about what you do as a company, which is you hold their hand through that, installs completed, and you make sure that there's a proper handover. You take them through the app and pay. Do you find that the app is becoming more important for customers?
Definitely. So when we first started, we had a lot of customers that always said, I won't look at the app much. It's just nice to see it there, see how much I'm generating, see how much I'm using. And basically, as time's gone on, a lot more customers have gone, I'm actually looking at the app a lot more. I'm seeing how much I'm using. I'm seeing how much I'm generating. And it does really help them, because there's a lot of customers that have gone, I'm using so much energy because the app is telling me how much I'm using. And I'm going around turning things off, saving energy. I'm saving myself money because I can see it via the app.
Yeah.
And it's nice that the app does give you data showing you how much you use in a whole day. So you can go through and you go, oh, okay, I used a lot that day. What did I do? So you can see when someone's at home, how much they've used. You can see what's actually being used as well. And I remember us having a conversation earlier about how you're going to do 5-second increment updates.
Released today, actually. Yeah. But I say today, by the time this video goes out, it's probably about 8 days. It depends how quickly Derry edits it.
Today.
So today it went as we're recording. So yeah, it's been an important thing actually for us to get that out, and
completely.
I mean, it's been out for a little while, but it's kind of today that it's formally launched.
Yeah,
along with the firmware upgrades, which is also today as well. So
yeah, and that's another great point as well. Is the firmware upgrades. Now that we can do it remotely via the app, it makes it so much better, and it will hopefully bring down the call times as well, because sometimes the call times roughly about 20 minutes, I'd say, if that. But you always get through to someone that knows what they're saying and everything like that. You don't get through to some people that go, I don't know this, I'm going to pass you on to the next person, and then you're cold again.
Exactly. And the reason that, sometimes it's not that immediate pickup is because of that. So we're I don't know what our numbers are of deployed products now. I think it's well over 120,000.
Yeah.
We release a new firmware upgrade, and this goes back to what we're talking about online forums and everything else. The moment we release a firmware upgrade, it's announced.
Yeah.
And then we suddenly get swamped by people who want it.
Yeah.
You got, I had Will Eccles on from the Facebook owners group. He's got, I think it's about 19,000. Is it now, Derry, 19,000? And it's got 800,000 on the forum. He gets announced on there, and you can imagine what happens as it just floods into service. So we had to do it.
Yeah.
And I think giving it back to the customer to control makes sense anyway. It's always been our long-term aim to do that.
Yeah.
But it'll make your life easier.
Oh, completely. Because a lot of the calls we do get is, can you check my inverters up to date? Can you check my inverters up to date?
Yeah.
And we always check them just to make sure that they are up to date. And then I'm part of the forums as well, so I can see when a new update comes out. So I'm normally on top of that. But now I can do it via the app. It's just going to make it so much easier, so much simpler, because I can go, right, there's an update from that. I'll go through and just completely update.
Will there become a time where the updates just happen for the customers rather than us having to click the button as such?
No, I think we'll always do it, on request, but it'll be alert. So there's an alert in the app, and it's down to the customer. Some systems go in, the customers never update the firmware, and it works perfectly at all time. But what we've learned is that there is this appetite for customers to always be on the latest software. So okay, if that's what you want, we'll obviously make it easier for you to do that. But it's interesting, isn't it? That forum. I think you go on the Facebook forum as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on there that are quite knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good space, actually. And I've said this publicly before, but obviously people that we talked about how interested our customers in the app, they still go above and beyond that. As they want to do Home Assistant integrations, Modbus, and have all sorts of controls. So it's kind of an interesting sort of community to keep an eye on, because to see what they're talking about. The other thing I've noticed on there as well is a lot of Australian users suddenly joined. As they have, and this brings me on to another question, actually. They obviously have the government's incentive out there in Australia now, large grants. So you're seeing a lot of installs go in, very big systems, 42 kilowatt hours with our EQ stacks. Government announced warm homes plan. I get my words out. Still a little bit light on the specifics, but broadly positive. Yeah. What's your thoughts on what was announced and the impact that might have?
I'm excited by it. I think it's a really good announcement for a change. I think it's really good. I think, obviously, why wouldn't you want it? When you look at the return on investment on solar versus probably most other investments out there right now, solar generally always, all the systems I design, you're looking at return on investments of like 14%, 15, 16%, so even the ones that are, some people do it for green reasons more so than financial, but even then they're getting a 10% return on investment. So if you look at the UK right now, you're going to be having, maybe in an IC you might have 3-4%, stocks and shares ISA 7%, 8%. So solar is always a really good investment. I think the issue has been and is some people can't afford to enter the market. So for those people now, if they've got an opportunity to either have a grant or have low interest loans, I think that's going to really open up the market to a lot more people. So if you looked at, for instance, somebody that's got an average use of, electricity, call it 3,500 kilowatts a year, over the next 25 years, they're going to spend upwards of £60,000 on electric. Whereas if they go into solar and battery, the likelihood is they could cut that down by at least 70%. So if you've done that by a way of an interest-free loan or a low-interest loan, it's going to be a great opportunity for everybody.
Yeah. I think that the concern I have, it's not a concern really, because I think for us it's a huge positive. The lack of detail can sometimes be a bit a worry, because if customers are aware, and they are, because it was quite a significant announcement that went through all the major news outlets and sort of mainstream media, are they going to pause?
Okay.
Because I guess we haven't got the detail yet. How is this money, this £15 billion, whatever it is, going to be distributed? How you as installers going to access it? How are customers going to access it? Is this going to be primarily through local authorities, utility companies, or will it be more open to installers like yourself?
Yeah.
Customers looking at it, they're going, oh, hold on a minute, there might be a grant or some financial benefit if I pause for 6 months. Yeah. Let me just wait. Have you seen that yet? I've spoken to a couple of them and said they've not seen it. So that's reassuring, but there's a danger there, isn't there?
It's not worrying me as a business owner, because I think we have two types of customer, so currently the majority of our customers are people that have the cash, so they don't want a monthly payment. So it doesn't matter how the government dress this new option up, it's going to then still work out to be in a monthly payment scenario. So what we're part of something called EPVS, and the Energy Performance Validation Scheme. Again, because I do not want to missell. There's some bad players in the market that will just, sell the dream, but I actually want that independently validated. So everything that we offer to a customer that's, wanting to reduce their costs monthly, they know they can do that. Now, if you've got the cash in the bank and your end game is to reduce your outgoings per month, by having a grant introduced or by having a monthly payment, that's still not going to solve that problem for that customer. So being that most of our customers they pay in full, and probably I would say 10% pay by finance with us, what I think will happen is you'll have the people that were still going to pay with cash are still going to pay with cash, or backs as, paying full, not cash, but then you'll open up the market to those people that didn't have the money up front but still want to save money. So that's why I can see the market probably jumping by 80% growth potentially by introducing that new customer.
Yeah, I think the industry is going to grow significantly, and I think that's another concern that you may have is that, well, a lot of people, electricians, electrical engineers, that maybe have looked at renewables and thought, well, not yet, maybe now's the time, and we'll find, because I think there's so much scope for growth anyway. So I don't think new entrants is going to be a major problem. I spoke to Alistair from Aurora, who I think and we were talking about still how many homes when you drive down the street have got solar PV on the roof. How many people do you know that have got a battery? Still very small numbers. And we're in the industry, so we're more likely to come across people that have got it than that maybe the general public have. So I think there's huge scope to grow. Interesting what you said there about cash. Does anybody pay cash anymore?
No.
Would you take it if they offered it?
No, absolutely not. No. I'm growing a business to grow a business. I don't want to. The industry should be and is, if you do it correctly via MCS. Everything it's regulated. Yeah. I'm trying to create a business that's sustainable. So I want money paid into the bank. So we offer most of our customers will pay either via backs or via a card link. Yeah, and I like them to pay by a card link because actually I'm offering them more credit consumer protection.
Yeah, especially the credit card. Yeah.
So we encourage that. So no.
Only if anybody. I mean, as a business, that's not you would never ask for it. But I'm just wondering, does anybody ever come up to you and go, "Can I pay like that?"
Yeah, we get it, and I just say no.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's just disappeared, hasn't it? Largely, it's the whole. Paying by cash thing is a thing of the past.
Exactly, and it's not a benefit to anybody. It's not a benefit to me anyway.
No. I know what you said there was actually a very good point. Yeah, for customers, reassurance, paying on a credit card gives them that little bit of protection anyway. That they
not only do they get highs, so they get the insurance back guarantee.
Are you with Highs? Are you?
I'm with Highs. Yeah, so we're with Highs. We have been since we were MCS. So. Yeah, we're with Highs. I understand that that's going to no longer be a requirement coming up.
Yeah, it's a little bit in doubt, isn't it? I need to check up on that because somebody else mentioned that to me and I wasn't aware.
Well, there's big changes coming with MCS. So
what's the point of MCS, do you think? Do you think they do you think they serve a purpose? I mean, I'm not being cynical here, but
I believe it serves a purpose. I want it to be hard to get into the game because I think you're not just selling solar and battery. Let's be honest, most customers don't want solar and battery. They want to either save money or they want to save the environment. So that's what they're actually looking to do. It's just solar and battery is the mechanism to get them there.
Do you not think it'd be better though? So being MCS in order to gain entry to the industry is one thing. Isn't there a danger though? And I'll ask this to you as well, Jamie. There's too many standards. There's too that almost overlap and compete. So you've got IET, BS 7671, MCS, PAS 63100, all kind of covering very similar things, and they don't always align. We have a problem there? I think.
Yeah, it is a tight line to walk, but if you walk it in the right way and get it done properly and in the right way, they're there to save people back. They're there for regulations because there's something that's gone wrong before, and they've gone, we need to bring this in as a regulation to make sure this doesn't happen again.
The problem is it comes in different ways. My view is there should be a harmonised single standard for this that could run alongside BS 7671, of course, because that will all stand alone. But yeah, I think some of this could be harmonised, and so not necessarily. I mean, PAS I would definitely weaken because I think it's largely nonsense, to be honest. But that's my personal opinion. But I think there's the scope here of making it a little bit more simple from an install, point of view. I get your point entirely. The bar should be set quite high for people to get into the.
Well, let me give you an example. Like this year, for instance, we've actually had to take out a 3-month-old system, take it completely gone. By a company that weren't MCS accredited. The installation was in Bedfordshire. Somebody from Wales has sold them the installation. It was, installed appallingly. It wasn't even working on completion. Unfortunately for them, a techie person lived in the house that wanted the solar. So he was a smart cookie. He knew his stuff. And we've actually done a video with him. And he's shown that, we've spoken about the benefits of making sure that the installer you pick is MCS accredited, because these people weren't. 3 of the solar panels weren't even working. Roof tiles not even sat down flat. The battery inverter weren't even working correctly. So we've lived with it, and luckily they paid for that system with a credit card, and they managed to get all of the money back.
Oh wow! Okay.
We took all of the system out. We put it aside for the company to come and collect. We installed a new Fox system and new panels, and we've got a 5-star glowing review out of it. So it's important to make sure you've got the right people. And I think as the grants come in, or the loans, and as the industry grows, it's going to be really important for customers to make sure that they look for installers that have got proven track record by checking reviews and making sure that they've got a history, not just new to the market, because it's not as easy as people might think. There are businesses out there, training companies, that are encouraging people to go into solar. You'll sell the average value of a job is this, you'll make that. The reality of it is, we've got 2 full-time administrators that are administrating all of the documentation. Is massive. So like the amount of paperwork behind it, making sure I bet we're one of the only companies out there that are registering every single Fox battery warranty for the customers. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe
it's no longer a requirement. People have stopped.
Oh, we do it.
Yeah, you're still doing it. Yeah. Because people like to have that physical.
Yeah, we're doing it. They're just getting the pack. They get it. We do that for them. So we're covering all bases, and I'm all for the rules. If they start to weaken the rules, then you're just letting people there were double glazing salesmen last week, and this week they're now solar salespeople designing systems.
I think from a customer protection point of view, providing insurance-backed guarantees, being MCS accredited, having your work vetted, that's important, because we've seen some horror shows, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Our engineers have gone out often to companies that have come and gone, People, like you say, that have just gone out, sold a system, not MCS accredited, and we've had to put things right. And we have to protect customers on that. My point was less about that in terms of customer protection and making sure everybody's competent, more to on the technical side, there being confusion around regulations and what supersedes what in certain scenarios. I think there's a problem there. Because it make your life easier, I think.
Yeah.
I think the PAS document, obviously, I don't speak particularly highly of it. I understand the motivations for it. They're sound. I think it's important that we make these systems as safe as possible. It just wasn't put together as it should have been. The recommendations didn't really tie in with the actual risks in the real world. And I think, I think maybe, and we've spoke also about how restrictive our regulations are beyond the point of what's reasonable.
Yeah.
In the case of balcony solutions, plug-in batteries which are being installed in their millions across Europe, but here you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a balance there, and I think there's got to be we've got to look at the regs and say, well, look, if they can do it, why can't we? Yeah. How do we make this work? And we could have a new micro storage standard, and that could be through MCS. I'm not saying they don't have a role to play. I was just wondering if you think, because it affects you more than it does us. Yeah. The paperwork, the admin, the red tape. It sounds to me though that you're not too concerned by that, and actually, you think that's on balance probably a good thing because it keeps out.
Yeah,
the cowboys, if for one of a better word.
Well, what's happening is, so like I did an NIC they call it the wire. So you go and you watch a webinar.
Yeah.
So I watched a webinar on the new amendment for the new regs coming out this year, and also the changes with MCS. And it seems to me that they're steering away from the paperwork side.
Okay.
They're going to become really heavy on the installation quality.
Okay.
And we're already fine because we're obviously hot on that anyway. But it's nice to know that we're there, because I think if they're going to put you in different risk categories as installers, so if they come along and do an inspection and see you as low risk, they'll come out and see one job once a year. If you go to something like high risk, they're going to come on and see 10%. Now for businesses like us, where we're doing 200 to 300 installs a year, to take MCS around to 20 or 30 installations a year is going to be a real pain in the backside. So it's really important that we are squeaky clean and we make sure that we're doing everything correctly. We've got everything in line so that we don't need to be on the radar because they've got no worries of what we're doing. So I think it's a good thing that they're cutting down on the admin a bit, but I still think it's you got to have all the right things in place, and then they're going to move to more of a technical, making sure that things are done correctly. What I like about what you've done with Fox is, if we went back to, when the announcement come out with no batteries in lofts and no batteries under stairs, like it's just almost like, this dropped and it was a big panic. Well, actually, I think, for batteries going outside, I don't know, I might be wrong, but the option at that time really was Tesla. But I think because it was heated, because no matter what the manufacturers say, you need a heated battery, in my opinion, if it's outside or in a garage, because as soon as it drops down below 9 degrees or something like that, you're going to see an impact. So I think what was really refreshing is actually with the EP11, the EP12, the Evo, they're all heated. Mm-hmm. So we've never done it anyway, but we don't put batteries in lofts. They're generally going outside or in a garage, somewhere like that. So the product's really adaptable. Yeah. So we can meet the regulations anyway. So yeah,
I think we did respond quite quickly actually to that, and I think you're right. I think you can put batteries outdoors without heating, but you obviously need to take it on the chin that those aren't going to work particularly well in the extreme cold. That's the nature of the chemistry. The heating helps; it makes a difference. I think it would be better if certain people had at least the option of maybe going indoors in certain circumstances. Garage is a good example of where you can do that. Yeah. People have got utility rooms. I think, I understand the motivation. We've had conversations with big house builders, big national house builders. They very much want to use the loft as a space for this technology. They would like to. It would suit them from a renewable perspective, especially with the aesthetics of putting the batteries on the outside. So there is still an appetite for it.
Shouldn't they focus more on putting a few more solar panels on? How many new builds have you seen with 2 solar panels on the roof? And you look at this huge roof and think, look at the opportunity. What are you doing?
There's some actually as you drive out. But also, interesting, I'm seeing a lot of movement now away towards battery without solar. And that's becoming much more prevalent. There's some installers I know that only do those systems.
Yeah.
They focus on it as a specialty. And with obviously the time of use tariffs, and obviously now with flex, the markets and flex trading and everything else, especially as the country moves towards that 30-minute settlement.
Yeah.
It's becoming much more of a thing, and there's revenue to be had. We work with a couple of partners on that. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I can maybe fill you in afterwards, because it might be really interesting for you to add that bit of a value add to your offering to your customers for sure.
Yeah.
So I can talk to you about that after. In the future then, so I guess, where do we go from here? I think we're growing. I think the industry is pretty buoyant. I think this announcement has given everybody a bit of a shot in the arm. I think I'm having a bit of a whinge about over-regulation, but I think those things are being worked out, and I think things are going to become more streamlined without there being a sacrifice on quality or consumer protection. What do you think? Where are we in 5 years, do you think, as an industry?
5 years. Well, I think this next 5 years from now, the next 5 years will be really exciting in solar and battery.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best industries, certainly in the construction industry. It's probably one of the best to be involved with. I think it's really good for businesses that are out there that are already set up, already going, because there's going to be a lot of people scrambling behind, I think, to try and jump in. But I think for those businesses that are already set up, we're going to see a really exciting time. I think for people like Jamie, still a youngster, he's he's
Still quite young.
He's not as old as he looks, but I think he's new to the game.
You're not 21 yet, are you?
I'm 22.
22 years old,
gonna say.
and he's so good at what he knows.
That's you younger, aren't you?
And
a baby, really.
With apps and all that sort of stuff, like, he's completely on it. So I think I think for people that are involved in this industry right now, I think it'd be really exciting in the next 5 years. Hopefully, Fox can stay in the market where they are, and hopefully it evolves in the right way, i.e., the products remain, a disruptor out there. I think you've got it just about right. I think price point, quality, service, I think it's a fine balance. I think it's right there. So what do you think? Where do you think it's going to go for us? Like, as where we currently see it?
I agree with you pretty much everything you just said there, and I think you made a key point. Those of you that are in the industry now, established with a good reputation, will really flourish. And doing things the right way, not like some in and out. Get a sales team together, get people on the phones or whatnot, sell out the systems, and then move on to something else. The ones like yourselves that are here for the long course will really benefit, I think, from the growth we're going to see over the next few years. Established companies. That's not to say people can't enter the industry and succeed, because of course they can. Because there was a point at which you entered.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really positive, and I do see, despite what I was just saying there about the restrictions on battery install locations, I think as the chemistry becomes better understood, battery chemistry changes and adapts, there will be as a country more open to indoor installations, especially with like plug-in batteries. That's going to open all sorts of new markets. All those people that can't have solar for practical reasons, or suddenly can have a battery. Well, they can do that now anyway.
Yeah.
But I think those incentives will get better in terms of trading revenues. I think it's an exciting time. I think, Derek, you've entered the industry at the right time as well. Stick around; you'll be all right. I think it is positive. I think also, and I was going to ask you about your focus as a business. Is it solely going to be in renewables, or are you still going to maintain those other
departments within your company and offer those services?
Yeah, well, we specialise in solar and battery.
Yeah.
So for the time being, I love the numbers in business and stuff like that. So for me, this is currently where it's at. I guess if new technologies come in, then we'll always adapt with that. So we'll always introduce new things. I mean, EPS boxes have become more popular in the last, and I think since the issue, for me, from a sales perspective, I think since the issue in Spain last year when they had power outages for a while, that sparked a lot of interest.
It did focus a few minds, that, didn't it?
I think, with what's going on politically in the world, I think people are sort of starting to feel that they want to have more energy security. But as a business for us, we're here to stay in the industry, and we're focusing on solar and battery and the quality of that. We're going to grow, but we're going to grow at a controlled rate. So there is a risk that businesses can go too big, too fast and go top, but it's not my style. So I want to make sure that we can still handle the whole thing very well.
Yeah, there's just a real focus on renewables. So you mentioned it earlier, customers can contact you, for remedial works. You gave an example earlier of a system you went back to put right. So if there's somebody in Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire, those areas that's got a system like that, are you open to that inquiry? The reason is because customers will watch this and they may find themselves in that position.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're GJM Energy based in Toddington in Bedfordshire, so they could email us on info@gjm-energy.co.uk. They'll be greeted by knowledgeable staff on the phone, Ellie and Gemma. Yeah, so they'll. It's fantastic. They know the stuff from the front end, and the comments we get, when I go into an appointment straight away, we're a family-run business, so Ellie's my daughter. Okay. She's been involved on the phones and dealing with customers, so she really knows her stuff as well. So from the outset, and they get an initial feeling that we're a good customer, a good company to deal with from that initial first contact, and that goes a long way. So yeah, we're more than happy to help. We're not just there just to sell any old system and throw it in and get out. Like, we really want to help customers save money on their bills, or if it's green. We sold one last week, and the lady it wasn't about money, it was about the environment. Yeah. So we can look at it from all perspectives, and if they want an honest company to come and do a really good job for them, and obviously if they want a really good Fox installation, then we're the people to do it.
Great. I'm not going to finish this yet because I want to ask you a couple more questions if that's all right. What we'll do is that bit there you did, we'll put on your contact details on the screen so that people can find you online and reach out should they need to. What a bit more about you outside of this industry, really, because this podcast, it's all about the industry, and we live and breathe this. You've got business. It's your baby. You look after that, and same here. But what do you do outside of work? What's your thing? Go on. Give me an insight to you.
I'm very much into vehicles and cars and everything, and the electric car market as well is really taking a boom. Like, Gavin drives Tesla. I've been driving it. And it's quick and it's really nice. They're lovely. Like, it's just like you.
You've got golf.
Yeah,
what about Teslas?
I like a bit of a car. I like a car that goes a bit quickly. All of that. I don't mind the sound.
You're going to switch to EV? Do you think there'll come a time, or
I think I'd go more hybrid. I'd go more hybrid just because I'm still quite young.
Yeah.
Just rub it in. But I can rub it in because I am young.
Well, yeah, this is true. This is true.
But I like the noise of the car. I like the sound of it. I like the feel of the car and everything like that. And with EVs as well.
So what are they going to call petrol heads then when nobody's got,
Spark heads.
Spark heads. Is that the new term?
I think that's the new term.
Well, if it isn't, it is now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Spark heads. So you've got petrol heads, you've got spark heads.
And then what else do you do? You like your gaming as well?
I like a bit of gaming. I play a few video games, like PCs and all of that. I look into building PCs.
Yeah, so you build your own gaming PC and stuff like that. You got all the kit. Yeah.
Not at the moment because of AI. AI is taking a lot of money from RAM is the main killer at the moment. So for 64 gigs of RAM.
So you're not mining Bitcoin on your PC?
I wish I could, but
it's too expensive. Yes, you
can't.
Exactly. I need a bigger solar system before I start buying it.
Yeah, it's just it's not viable anymore. So interesting to talk about AI, because we didn't really touch on it, did we? And in terms of the industry, there's going to be some impact from that, I think.
Yeah. Well, I know. Can't remember who is the owner of ChatGPT, but I remember them coming out recently saying if they don't have funding,
I can't remember that. You should know it,
but if they don't have funding by 2027, they're going to be completely bankrupt and they're going to go. So they're going to need funding, from what I've seen. And also the prices of RAM at the moment, because AI is so RAM based, the prices of RAM have completely I think they quadrupled in price. So you used to be able to buy 64 gigs of RAM for 250 quid. Now you're looking at £1,200.
Yeah.
So
I think the challenge of those challenges, aren't they? It's the chips, it's the energy.
Yeah.
So you've seen this exponential growth of AI. It's going to plateau for a bit because we just can't keep up.
Exactly.
We can't. We need more energy.
Yeah.
We need more generation.
With his gaming background, it just leads back into the fact that's why he's so good with the apps and stuff like that. So that's where
very computer.
What do you play?
So I've got an Xbox, I've got PC. I normally play a few racing game simulators, all of that, but then also just like some mind-numbing games that you just sit there and play. Like I like to play a bit of Tetris sometimes.
Yeah, just
it makes your brain think.
He got beaten though. So hold on. We went for our Christmas work day to the F1 arcade in London.
Okay.
And he was giving it all this. I'm going to beat you. What track should we do? Da-di-da-di-da.
You beat
2-0. So yeah.
No, 2-1.
I've been to one of those. They're pretty cool.
They are cool. And with F1, it's a lot cooler because the seats move and it feels a bit realistic. But first race I won, happily, no problem. He then crashed into me on the second race. And then he's like, oh, I won. Third race, I thought I'd be a bit dirty, tried to spin him out. I spun myself out. I lost. But overall,
you told us all, but you didn't want to walk in.
But overall, so I know you had Christian on.
Did you?
No, you had Christian.
Yeah, we had Christian on. Yeah.
So he came to the F1 arcade as well. I beat him, and he was number one overall. So I think that says something. If I beat the number one overall guy, I think I must be pretty good.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's the best driver, but I just think he's got...
Well, to be honest, he beat you, so, you know.
Yeah, but he's got a bit of experience on him. He's got the age, so...
So about you, Gavin?
I'll be honest, I spend a lot of my time working. So
yeah, running a business is a life. It's a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of like I'll probably get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, start designing my systems ready for the Zoom calls, or so I'll sell via Zoom or direct going to people's homes. So I do a lot of that, but I probably go 5 times a week to the gym.
Yeah.
So I enjoy keeping fit. And
what's your thing? You did cardio, because I'm doing this thing. In fact, actually, I need to put out my sponsorship request today for my bike ride. So do I like cycling? Yeah.
Do you cycle? Yes, I've done a lot of cycling over the years. We've got a group in where we live. And
So road bike. Get your lycra on.
But I'll tell you what's really helped is actually going to the gym, lifting weights.
Yeah.
We spent, like, my friends, we're going to Mallorca cycling, which was great.
Oh yeah, I lived in Mallorca 5 years. The cycling is amazing.
Sakala.
All the way down to there.
So beautiful. Done some that, loved it. But I must admit, they were all cycling every weekend, and I wasn't so much, but I was doing weightlifting in the gym.
Right.
And when we went, honestly, it was a bit of a game changer.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you need to be in the saddle because obviously you don't want to get a sore bum, basically.
Yeah.
At the time you're sitting down. But but now it's probably more weight. So just trying to, stay.
I think about you notice about Mallorca and cycling, how smooth the roads are.
Yeah.
It's just a dream.
It is lovely. So and that's it really. So a bit of keeping fit and holidays. So
very similar to myself really. It's just I've started trying to ask people a bit about themselves really, because this I've been in your shoes. I've owned an installation business. It's still going, but I passed it on a few years ago.
Are they fit Fox? Don't say no.
No comment. Although it's no longer my business, so the person that took it on, they do a bit, yeah. So it's a bit of a sore point, but I ran that for a couple of years, and it is just draining, and and I wasn't able to, because it started up in that dip. You talked earlier about the big boom feed-in tariff, and then late 2010s there was up until about COVID, really, for about 3 or 4 years, there was just a little bit of a lull, wasn't there? And it was difficult, and it was fine. I couldn't scale it, so I couldn't get to the point where I had enough people around me. So it was 12-hour days, 6-7 days a week. It was, it was difficult. So I feel your pain in terms of the amount of energy that you have to put into running a business, especially one like that you have, where you're doing things the right way. It takes time and effort, doesn't it?
We do about 14. We're on 4 installs a week now, which is great. So we've got to a really nice place.
Your own fitters as well.
Yeah. So really good. But now it's like the next level up for us is to double. There's no reason at all why we can't do that. It's just making sure we've got that infrastructure behind us. So we will expand again.
Commercial? Any plans to go that direction?
Potentially. I mean, there is potential for that. We've done a few pubs and things like that. It's just difficult with commercial, I would say, because the tariffs aren't really there to warrant the battery, and they potentially, and that I know of anyway. You mean tell me?
Well, no, I think you're right, but I think it is changing. I think there's changes recently that make it much more viable, and things are becoming much more flexible.
And it's having the roof space for the solar panels. So I think there's, they obviously, pubs are using a lot of energy, but it's like the roofs, like a pub might be a large house, so the amount that you can generate versus the amount that they're using, it kind of works out that they might be 10% independent from the grid, not 85% independent from the grid.
It's a significant difference.
So it's trying to figure that one out. I would love to be able to help that industry, because I think it's, it would be really fantastic if you cut their energy bills, because it must be wow. I mean, as a business, it's a hard model anyway. Then to be with energy prices.
It's interesting actually, because what you said there actually was kind of the case for a while, and people struggled to make it pay. And it just depends on the business and how they operate. Some businesses are sucking up energy all day, and there's nothing spare. I did a proposal yesterday, weirdly, that was for a farm. Got about 1.5 megawatt of PV already installed. So they're saying, well, batteries. So we crunched the numbers, and we spec'd, I think it was 1.5 to 3 megawatt hour battery system. We covered all bases, and then we worked out, based on the increased self-consumption estimate and everything else, we had a bit of data to work on. We know what the generation was and what the usage was, and then we started factoring in flex revenues and everything else. It came back at a 2-year payback.
Oh wow!
And I thought, this is wrong. I redid it, and then I put it through AI and said, "Is this right?" And then I actually deliberately made it worse, because I thought if I go with a 2-year payback, they're not going to believe it. But it generally did appear to be the case. There was about 30-40 grand from trading alone per year revenues to be had. So it's interesting. That seems to have been a switch, and it may be something that in the next 2 to 5 years we see grow significantly.
It'd be really good for that industry, because, as I say, I mean, it's a difficult model either way, but
interesting. Well, gentlemen, really great to speak to you. Thanks for coming up. I know you've come up the motorway on a Friday, and I don't want to make it too difficult for you to get down the M1 on a Friday afternoon, so we'll wrap up there. Thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. This will go out obviously on YouTube. Please, when you see it, embed it on your website, share it out if you can, and help spread the message. And thanks to those who've watched this. Please tune in for more podcast episodes. We have got some news updates coming as well on the channel. We've got a January newsletter coming with some really important updates about some partnerships. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.